Rockport correspondent Jonathan Hutt is on Long Beach, Long Island, where he's been all day, about 15 miles east of the Rockaways. He's lost power. Jonathan, you're back now. What are you seeing?
Shep, we have actually lost power. The entirety of Long Beach, Long Island is now in darkness. We're running off the small amount of battery power we still have. And I can tell you, as I've watched this ocean, Shep, you really get the sense that the ocean is moving into and across this barrier island. It is an extraordinary thing to watch, not comparable in any way to anything we have ever seen before, Shep.
My name is Manny de las Cuevas. I've lived in Long Beach 10 years. Basically a small community. You basically park your car and you can get everywhere by bike. And Long Beach is one of two cities, I believe, in Long Island. We have our own police force, our own seat of government, our own fire department within Nassau County. I believe Garden City is the only other city established as a city in Long Island. But it was the ocean that attracted me to Long Beach and has kept me here in spite of Hurricane Sandy.
I think our beach community, compared to others around us, it's more diverse. We're a little more racially diverse than some of the other communities. They're usually exclusively one kind. And in Long Beach, we find a lot of different kinds of people moving in here, a lot of different backgrounds and diversities.
Never expected the storm to be so severe. If I would have known what was coming, I certainly wouldn't have stayed here. I certainly would have gotten my family out. In retrospect, thank God we had a second floor. Here, especially on the west end of Long Beach, the island is at its narrowest point. It's basically a 2-block width, 1 block to the bay, 1 block to the ocean. And if you got the height, you can see both. What happened during Sandy is the bay met the ocean. So we got it far worse than any other part of the island. The aid was a process. For us in particular, my family, it was a nightmare. Going through case managers. I think I went through 6 case managers when I said enough. And every time I got a new case manager, it was like starting all over. It was waiting and waiting and waiting. And those who chose to move forward quickly, and quite a few of my neighbors wound up taking out second mortgages because the aid would fall short.
But as far as the help from the city or whatever, from the community, it was a lot of red tape, and we tried to go through it to raise the house and to make it, to lift the house. But it didn't, it was very tedious, and different workers would come to the house and a lot of paperwork, and they weren't going to cover a lot of the, the replacements. They weren't going to give us the replacements we needed. Like, you'd have to add a lot more money, and a lot of people did wind up with second mortgages and shelling out a lot more money to raise the house. And they were also out of their homes way too long.
The rules set by receiving the FEMA money, basically you had to leave, I think it was 1 or 2 walls up from the original structure. So basically they raised the home, and what used to be a bungalow became a $700,000 home. That sounds all good, especially when I sell my home, but as a result of that, taxes have gone up.
I think some are still even abandoned because people who didn't have flood insurance really had to do things on their own, and I don't think they were raising those houses. You had to have some sort of mortgage, you had to have some sort of flood insurance to get lifted. And then when your house is raised, your taxes are raised as well. They could be double. So you have the nice raised house, but the taxes, it's hard to afford. The devastation was there and we lived through the devastation, but the rebuilding has been amazing. The way the houses are lifted, the way the property values has grown, the way the boardwalk, even before Sandy, the boardwalk was falling apart, pieces were coming off, and now the boardwalk is amazingly beautiful. Schools have changed for the better because families are moving in. It's becoming more of a family community than it was prior because people are moving with families, and the schools at all levels has improved.
It is stronger in the sense of a lot of the new homes, a lot of the homes that were abandoned or sold. These are homes that were destroyed by Sandy's, were rebuilt, they were lifted, and it brought in more families, more young families.